This is question number 88 from book number 1 based on the 2020 NEC, and this is electricaltime.com. Lighting that is identified for horticultural lighting use shall not be installed A, where likely to be subject to physical damage, B, in wet locations, C, where subject to direct sunlight, or D, outdoors. Just want to take 30 seconds to let you know what we do here at electricaltime.com. We do online electrical classes from the comfort of your home. And then we also have this free service. So if you click on the subscribe for free NEC questions, Monday through Friday, you'll get an NEC code question and an answer sent to your email. All right, so back to our video. So horticultural lighting is the lighting that is outside, maybe in somebody's garden. And then obviously it's gonna be outdoors. So we're gonna cross out that possible answer. That's not right. It says where subject to direct sunlight. Of course it's going to be subject to direct sunlight, and we're going to cross that one out over there. And it says, how about in wet locations? Of course it's going to be in the wet locations. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to get rained on. So the only answer that's available that makes any sense at all, A, where likely to be subject to physical damage. And that's going to be the answer to that. All right, so let's ask ourselves, what article are we talking about here? And I see the word lighting. When I see lighting, I'm automatically going to think about Article 410, and that's luminaires, lamp holders, and lamps. All right, so really important. Find that article that we're talking about in the questions. Otherwise, you're really going to get messed up. And then you have to go back to the index and waste like 5 or 10 minutes and probably not even able to find the answer. And then there you go. You got 5 or 10 minutes wasted on an exam. All right, so now we're going to look at we'll find that this is in Chapter 4, Equipment for General Use. And when you get to an article, the first thing that I would like you to look at are the parts. And in Article 410, for luminaires, lamp holders, and lamps, they have 16 parts in the 2020 code. And Part 16 is called Special Provisions for Horticultural Lighting Equipment. Then we find 410.176, Locations Not Permitted. And then we find 410.176b, Installed Location. All right, so let's find where horticultural lighting is in our code book. Lighting is another word for luminaires, and we go directly to Article 410, and again, that's called luminaires, lamp holders, and lamps. Next, we scan the parts, and in my NEC codebook, I highlighted the part titles in green. So I quickly look at the parts, and there is actually a Part 16, and it's called Special Provisions for Horticultural Lighting Equipment. Next, we scanned the sections, and in my codebook, I highlighted just the major sections numbers like 410.176 in orange, and see that the answer we are looking for is in 410.176b, installed location. Okay, so FYI, if you have to make sure that wherever you're going to take your electrical exams, that they allow highlighting in your NEC code book. So, please make sure about that. All right, so what we're going to do here is go into our code book, and we're going to take a look at 410.176b. It's called Installed Location. And here it says, that the lighting equipment, that is identified for horticultural use shall not be installed where it is likely to be subject to something called physical damage. And what does that mean? That it's, going to be likely to be subject to physical damage. Does that mean that that's going to stop people from walking through the garden and kicking the lights around? No, of course not. But, if there's a fence that's going to protect that area, or where it's going to be a little difficult for, let's say, your dog to go through there and start tramping around in the garden as your dog is looking around for food. Yeah, you have to use your common sense on that one. It also talks in the code book that you cannot conceal this horticultural lighting. All right, so again, the answer to this question is going to be A, we're likely to be subject to physical damage, and that's where you are not allowed to install this horticultural lighting, and this is code reference 410.176B.